Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. With 4 weeks to go until the November election, the Spokane City Council did their own voting tonight on an ordinance about the Community Safety Fund appearing on the ballot. KREM 2's Cody Proctor brings us more tonight from outside of City Hall.
The ordinance is set to appear on next month's ballot. If it manages to pass the vote, it has an expiration date at the end of 2035. However, an amendment from one of the council members would provide more restrictions to the ordinance.
The Spokane City Council passed the Community Safety Fund ordinance Monday night.
Prepare to vote.
5-2. Then in a few short weeks, it'll be up to voters to decide the fund's fate. If passed this November, Spokane Mayor Lisa Brown says the new tax would cost the average Spokane resident around $1 for every $1,000 they spend. Necessities like food and prescription drugs would be exempt. In the original proposal, the mayor said roughly $6.5 million per year would stay in the city and be used for community safety enhancements. Monday night's vote also established a sunset provision, essentially an expiration date for December 31st, 2035. Councilmember Michael Cathcart proposed an amendment to the ordinance, adding restrictions on how the money would be exactly used. Ultimately, that amendment was not included in the vote.
There's going to be commentary that we're protecting these dollars, even though there's absolutely no definition provided of what community safety is. That will be up to the whims of any future council and any future mayor.
Council President Betsy Wilkerson also spoke, saying she trusts the Spokane Police and Fire Departments to use the money equitably.
As we go forward, and yes, we are the body, these funds will have to come to council for approval. So they will have to explain the need for them.
Again, the Community Safety Fund proposal set to appear on the November ballot. If it passes, it would go into effect April 1st. In downtown Spokane, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
All right, let's talk weather. It was a beautiful day across the region with temperatures topping out in the 70s today. Let's get right over to meteorologist Jeremy Legoo for a look at what the rest of the week is looking like. Jeremy?
Well, today is a sign of things to come for the next day at least. We stay warm through the day tomorrow, and we're pretty warm right now, 55 degrees in Spokane. Get this, our average high temperature next week, closer to that by the end of the week than where we were today. How weird is that? 41 in Sandpoint, temps falling overnight. Expect a chilly one across much of the region. We're going to drop all the way down into the 40s and 30s. I don't think we have really too many places that drop down below freezing. We're just way too warm right now, so just get ready for another mild one. Tomorrow winds up quite mild as well with plenty of sunshine to boot. We'll see a little bit of wind. I think wind gusts around 20 miles per hour out of the south and southwest are about it. Then we get a little more cloud cover building in on Wednesday. And by Wednesday night, we're back to pretty dry across the region. So next few days goes as follows. 77 and mostly sunny tomorrow, mostly cloudy Wednesday, partly cloudy Thursday. And as those clouds depart, our temperatures warm back up. Coming up in your full forecast, we're going to talk the aurora happening tonight.
Sounds good, Jeremy. We'll talk to you then. Thank you very much. Now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. Tonight we are learning more about a child hit by a car while walking to school this morning. According to the Post Falls Police Department, the 10-year-old was hit while crossing at Greens Ferry and 16th Avenue down the street from Prairie View Elementary. That road does not have a crosswalk, and police say the driver told them they did not see the child step into the street. The 10-year-old was taken to the hospital with a leg injury. Police are still investigating tonight. No charges have been filed against the driver. Negotiations between Boeing and its machinist union have stalled after a third attempt today. The strike has been going on for more than 3 weeks now. The union rejected Boeing's best and final offer presented back on September 23rd, which included a 30% pay raise but no pension. Machinists are demanding a 40% pay increase and to have their pensions reinstated, among other things. One machinist today says he's willing to wait to get a better offer.
It could be as little as a week or as much as 2 months, and whatever they want to do, I'm willing to do it. Give me a good contract. That's all I want.
At this point, members no longer have health care benefits through the company and have missed their first paycheck as well. The National Association of Manufacturers estimates Boeing has lost more than $1.6 billion so far. And a heads up for drivers who use northbound US 195 between Spangle and Spokane. Starting tomorrow morning, right lanes will be closed at East Paradise Road so crews can repair sensors at the Way in Motion site. Then they'll have to move their work on the left lane. That work will begin bright and early at 6:30 in the morning. It's expected to be done by 4:30 in the afternoon. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. Well, today marks 1 year since Hamas attacked a music festival in Israel. People around the world are remembering the 1,200 people killed in the attack and the more than 200 taken hostage. Currently, about 100 hostages remain in Gaza, including 7 Americans. Families of those killed at the Nova Music Festival gathered at the site of the terrorist attack to mark the 1-year anniversary. The cousin of Israeli-American hostage Omar Nutra spoke out during a rally in Washington, D.C.
I can't believe that it's been a year. I mean, we're suffering, but I can't even imagine how much Omar is suffering. And there should be nothing more urgent than to get him and 100 other hostages out and get as many of them back alive as we can.
Since then, fighting in the Gaza Strip has been raging, with tens of thousands of Palestinians dead. The United States has spent at least $17.9 billion on military aid to Israel in the last year. That's according to a report for Brown University's Costs of War projection. And in Spokane, candles were lit for the victims of the attack. Mourners also held posters of the 100 hostages still being held by Hamas. The vigil, put on by Inland Empire for Israel, featured speeches by area religious and community leaders. The group says they do not want people to forget about the people that still need to be brought home.
Of course, I wish we didn't have to do this, but it's important to remember what happened that day and that October 7th is still going on, particularly for the families of the hostages, many of whom don't know if their loved ones are alive or dead, what's happened to them.
Today, the Northwest is also mourning 1 year since the graduate of the University of Washington was killed at the start of the conflict. Haim Katzman was a PhD graduate of the UW International Studies program. He was murdered in his home by Hamas gunmen days after the attack began. Dr. Katzman was an award-winning scholar whose studies focused on Israel and Palestine. Both Vice President Harris and former President Trump held events today to commemorate the Hamas attack on Israel 1 year ago. Vice President Kamala Harris planted a pomegranate tree at her Washington residence to symbolize hope. Meantime, Trump visited with members of the Orthodox community in New York and then spoke at a remembrance at his golf club in Doral, Florida.
The October 7th attack would never have happened if I was president. The past few years have proven that weakness only begets violence and war. What is needed more than ever is a return of unwavering American leadership and unquestioned American strength.
At the White House, President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden participated in a candle lighting ceremony in remembrance of the day. Now to your national headlines tonight. Millions are under mandatory evacuation orders in Florida in preparation for Hurricane Milton. The west coast of Florida is bracing for another life-threatening storm just 11 days after Helene. It's expected to make landfall in Tampa this week, and nearly half of the city is being told to get out.
I can't put my officers' lives in danger to come out for somebody that didn't evacuate in the peak of the storm surge. So take the heat and evacuate now.
Forecasters say if it stays on its current track, this will be the worst storm to hit the Tampa area in more than a century. And first responders from Washington are heading to the southeast right now to help with hurricane recovery efforts. Washington Task Force 1 left yesterday. It includes 30 firefighters, medics, and rescue team members from across the region who are packing 90,000 pounds of equipment, rescue boats, and tools to help with the search in the areas devastated by Helene. Another 50 team members, including 4 canine search teams, will follow and be on the ground for at least the next 2 weeks.
Important thing to remember with these urban search and rescue teams is these are people from our community who are going to help other people in another part of the country who are having, the worst time of their life right now. And it's your neighbors, it's the people you see in church, it's the people you see in your children's schools.
Hundreds are still missing in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene, which made landfall now about 2 weeks ago. And today, the U.S. Supreme Court was back in session for its new term. This session, the justices have some high-profile cases on the docket. Earlier today, justices let stand a lower court decision saying Texas hospitals cannot be required to provide emergency abortions that violate state law, a blow to an appeal by the Biden administration. Tomorrow, the court will hear arguments in a case about whether the federal government can regulate untraceable firearms known as ghost guns. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.